Nice of you to join us, Counselor.
I apologize, Your Honor.
We're here in the matter of the Commonwealth versus Todd Manning. Is the District Attorney's Office ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. We intend to provide sufficient evidence to bind Mr. Manning over to trial on charges of assault, attempted murder, and pursuant to Criminal Code Section 2604, the murder of an unborn child.
Very well.
Your Honor, may I be heard?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. This morning, I filed a motion to quash this indictment. I'm asking that all charges against my client be dropped today. The state's case is a tissue of innuendo fueled by the district attorney's personal and long-standing vendetta against my client. Let's start with the so-called forensic evidence.
I assure the court the fibers are very real.
And also very common. This particular blend of cashmere silk was produced in Italy last winter and sold in 25 department stores across the country. This particular shade of navy was the most popular and used in literally thousands of garments.
One of which is a blue jacket that the defendant was wearing the day of the attack.
The prosecution can't tell us when the fibers were left in the stairwell. For all we know, they could have been there for months. Secondly, the prosecution alludes to a long history of animosity between my client and Dr. Saybrook.
This is hardly what you'd call bad feelings. I think it is well known.
There's one prior ancient conviction that would be totally inadmissible in a court of law as a prior bad act.
But the argument immediately preceding the attack will be admissible.
Which one?
Excuse me?
Well, which one? Dr. Saybrook not only had words with my client, Dr. Saybrook had a loud, heated argument with Natalie Banks just prior to her accident. In fact, the first person that Dr. Saybrook accused of the crime was Natalie Banks. Dr. Saybrook stuck by her conviction that Natalie Banks was her attacker until Officer Brody Lovett encouraged her to remember her conversation with my client and throw the blame on him.
I doubt the victim needed reminding about who this attacker was.
Of course she didn't. Good point. Because here we have Lambview's favorite scapegoat. Whenever there's an unsolved crime or Marty Saybrook runs into any trouble, which, it should be said, happens with some frequency, her good friend, Lieutenant John McBain, and no fan of Todd Manning's, points the finger directly at my client.
We have an eyewitness with no axe to grind.
Your Honor, Miss Hannah O'Connor is a troubled young girl who is in love with Starr Manning's boyfriend, Cole Thornhart. She's using the story she concocted to try to drive a wedge between Miss Manning and Mr. Thornhart.
Unbelievable.
No, it's true, Your Honor.
You're out of order, young lady.
Please, Hannah is lying to break us up.
Sit quietly or you'll be removed.
Your Honor, there is evidence that Miss O'Connor is unstable.
You have an offer to proffer, or am I supposed to listen to outbursts from the gallery?
Absolutely not. Miss O'Connor tried to commit suicide when someone tried to break up with her.
Okay, there is absolutely no record of this alleged suicide attempt by Miss O'Connor. And even if there were, isn't that a question of credibility for a jury to decide?
I agree.
Your Honor, there is no time for a trial. It would be a waste of the taxpayers' money and of the court's time. First of all, there is no conclusive physical evidence in this case. Second of all, Dr. Saybrook argued with several people before her accident. All we have is one troubled girl with an ulterior motive who, I guarantee you, would not stand up 5 minutes under cross-examination. That's all the evidence we have that a crime occurred at all. Dr. Saybrook did not see who pushed her. All we have is Dr. Saybrook's word, her impression, her hazy memory after a painful physical ordeal and an intense emotional loss that she was in fact pushed at all. It is entirely possible, in fact probable, that this was a tragic accident, Your Honor.
Well, I would welcome a trial where the defense tried to sell that.
Does the prosecution have any more physical direct evidence to proffer?
Not at this time, Your Honor. We feel that we have more than met our burden of proof.
We'll take a short recess while I consider the motion.
All rise.
Nice work.
This one's for you and Danny. Okay?
Hey,
Yeah.
how about the three of us? When I see you work this hard, it makes me wonder. Do you see a future with the three of us?
Please be seated.
You sick?
I have a headache.
You sure that's all? I mean, you look like death on toast.
That's lovely, thank you.
Back on the record in the matter of the Commonwealth versus Todd Manning, the defense motion to quash the indictment. The court finds that the prosecution has met the burden of proof and orders the defendant to stand trial on the charges.
Your Honor, in that case, if there is to be a trial, we renew our request for bail.
And the Commonwealth vigorously opposes. Mr. Manning is a very wealthy man and is known for...
Again, the prosecution is mired in the past. Mr. Manning owns and operates a business here. He has 3 children who live here. In fact, he just found out that he has another daughter who now lives here, and he is eager to establish a relationship with her.
He also owns a private jet where she can throw her on and take
Of course, Mr. Manning will voluntarily surrender his passport.
Like that's going to help.
Bail is set at $2 million, cash, not bond. This case is bound over for trial.
All rise.
You got outlawed.
Not so much. I'll see you at trial. And I'll see you in a cage at State Store after that.
Taya, you did a great job. I mean, it was a long shot, right?
It'd be so much better if all this were over now.
Well, it'll all be better when you work with part Hannah on that stand.
I will. At least you're out of jail.
The trial will be here soon enough.
I hope so.
Do you think...
We'll arrange for bail. Call your bank.
Okay. Taya,
What?
thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you got for me? Oh, God. Yeah, okay, thank you.
What's going on?
I don't know if it's good news or bad news.
What?
Hannah O'Connor's gone missing.